stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Hello one, hello all. Welcome to this Child's Play Complete Franchise Ranking. I am CP. You are not. As of today, June 21st, 2019, I have seen everything the Child's Play franchise has to offer, and I will be ranking them as such. So without further ado, let's get to my number 8 in the Child's Play franchise. I mean, of course it was going to be Seed. Child's Play 2019 would have had to have been a just humongous disaster for anybody to expect otherwise, but Seed of Chucky is the least good movie that features a doll named Chucky in it. And I'm going to even venture out, if there's other films that aren't the Child's Play franchise that feature a doll named Chucky, I would assume Seed of Chucky is worse than those films as well. It is every dumb comedy that capitalized on pop culture of that period, like Britney Spears. When you have Chucky driving Britney Spears off a road just to have Britney Spears in the movie, that's bad. That's really bad. You don't need that shit. Oh, did Don Mancini have this killer line about having Chucky say, "Oops, I did it again"? Well, thank God you shoehorned that in there, huh? Ugh. The movie's too campy for everything about Bride of Chucky, which kind of blended a bit more gray between the horror and black humor. Seed of Chucky went way too far, just way too far in the other direction, and it was just a joke. For all intents and purposes, it was an absolute joke. So, number 7, it is Cult of Chucky, the most recent Don Mancini film. Boy, Cult, you're not the worst, but that's not a good thing. I don't know how to put this. When you take your own rules, I mean, they kind of shooed it away in Seed anyway. This whole, Jennifer Tilly is actually Jennifer Tilly, and the characters are based like fucking. I congratulate Child's Play for somehow getting that really decent continuity from 1 through 3, and then just mucking it the shit up by Seed. Because name a major horror franchise that has a clean continuity from 1 through 3. I think this is the largest that actually maintains a decent continuity. But by Seed, that's just absolute mess. It's just gone. And by Cult, it's tripled down on. They got Alex Vincent back. Cool. Oh, but no, wait. He's in the same universe as Jennifer Tilly now, and she's not Tiffany, but now Chucky doesn't need Andy. Okay, all right. So I guess you're going with that. Oh, wait a minute. Into anybody. The second you have more than one Chucky and they're the same voice, the second your franchise officially stops making sense. For the first couple of films, it was, I need to get an Andy, I need to get an Andy, I need to get an Andy. Then it was, I have the amulet, so I just need the amulet. And then it was just, listen, I can go in multiple bodies at the same time. That'll keep it tense, right? Ugh. Listen, for all you Don Mancini fans that think this 2019 film is an aberration, 2 of the last 3 Child's Play films were just absolute train wrecks. This needed to happen. There needed to be a cleanse of that franchise if there were going to be new ones. Like, it almost seems like Don Mancini has some sort of disdain for the franchise and just wants to troll people. And some people eat that shit up, which, cool. I didn't like what happened with Jason when they were taking all those different turns. But I digest. Number 6 is Child's Play 3. I know there's quite a few fans of this movie. I'm not one of them. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff, the whole military school as a whole feels really contrived. There's stuff in there that you really have to just turn your brain off and accept. I don't know why it'd be a military school with toys, let alone those toys, and this kid's history with the toy, like, you're asking a lot of me, Child's Play 3. You really are. The problem is that, the opening 2 acts are kind of wince-worthy. The haircut guy, like, okay, Don Mancini's starting to test his silliness here. If that were the only thing in the movie it'd probably be higher, but the whole first 2/3 of the film are rough. I'll give it to the third act. The third act, the carnival, that shit's awesome. Chucky's death, the half face thing, that could be one of, might be top 3 Chucky demises in the franchise. It says how much I don't appreciate the first 2 acts, because if the third act were its own, like the whole carnival thing, if that were its own movie, this movie would be way higher for me. But the lead into that just feels so, again, contrived. It's not the worst thing in the world. If this were the bottom, if Seed and Cult never existed, this would be a really solid bottom for me. Again, we're all different. Your opinion is different than mine. Nobody's right. That's the fun thing. Nobody's correct because they're opinions. Hey, let's go further. Number 5. All right, so Curse of Chucky. Hey, who knew a movie that comes out in the 2000s, written and directed by Don Mancini, and isn't a complete clusterfuck? It isn't a five-fisted fire. The tone is quite nice. Granted, by the very end of this movie, it gets a little silly, but man, the rest of this movie really, again, the tone was perfect. What a complete flip-flop from something like Seed of Chucky. You could tell they were restricted with money, which, would you give somebody money after they made Seed? Let's be honest. And much like films like Jaws, the restrictions of finances help you, constrain yourself and really focus on the story in the continuity's sake. And it's already been kind of jarbled the fuck up since Seed. So to dance around whatever was set up previously, Curse does a really decent job of kind of navigating that path. And I would call this a good movie. This is the beginning of the good. This may grow. This may get higher on my list. I'd like to see it again. Check back in October. 2019 might go up for me. I'm not sure. I mean, it could go down, which I guess I would comfortably call the beginning of the okay to decent Child's Play movies. 2019. If you haven't seen that movie yet, again, I record this the release day. Forget Chucky as you know it, and that could be a hard pill to swallow, and I understand that. It's like telling me to forget Jason the way I know it, which he's had a couple of forms, in his defense. But the movie is not Chucky-centric. It is more about chaos, the chaos and the power that we give electronics perhaps too much power. Electronics know a little bit too much. We're trusting these things like Alexa and Siri and all them to turn off our lights, to fucking do things in our house. There's a lot to these electronics, and the amount of information they have about us. If one of them were to go haywire, we'd be in trouble. At least personally, like information and stuff like that. I'm not saying Alexa's gonna run around and kill you, but the way this stuff is integrated, it's not incredibly far-fetched. And that's the brilliance of 2019's Chucky, is it's chaos. It's malfunctioning software. And it's believable for the first time in the series. You're actually sorry for Chucky, just software that's trying to make its imprinted owner happy, making sure he's laughing. And they really, this could be the fullest experience as far as a movie's concerned, as far as, you don't want a full experience from your slasher, but it's something that you sit on and you think about, this actually has social things to say. It's a social commentary of sorts. That you don't expect from fucking these rinse-repeat slashers, but Child's Play 2019 has it. Whether or not you want that, that's the question, but there's a bit of doggy bag to this movie, and I'm enjoying it. They take the time to set things up in the movie and pay them off. You understand the reasoning behind why Chucky's doing certain things, and it's because it's set up nicely, and things, with the exception of Chucky being chaotic and broken, the setups and payoffs are rather smooth. And there's at least one kill in this movie that could be top 5 for me, for the franchise, at least. Child's Play 2. Bye, guys. Bye. It was nice having you. Bye. So I wasn't the biggest fan of 2 and 3. I remember getting back into these movies, horror as a whole, around that late 90s time. Bride of Chucky was new around that time, and boy did I enjoy that movie. But we're not talking about that yet, are we? So anyway, I forgot 2 and 3 for the most part. I remembered 1 because I had 1. 2 and 3 I forgot. And Bride of Chucky just stuck out. I went a couple of years after seeing Bride of Chucky, and I just forgot about 2. So Child's Play 2, back to what we're on, it's good. It's really good. A lot of interesting camera work. The near fisheye angling for a lot of the shots in the beginning is quite neat. You don't see creative stuff done, again, in slashers, but the cinematography is quite interesting in part 2. A lot of interesting juxtapositions with all the toy store, the vibrant color, and all the sick shit that's happening. That was neat. It was really neat to see Don Mancini, when he was writing and somebody else was directing, man, there's some creative shit. Again, another movie where the entire third act is just awesome. I'm a little less strong on the opening 2/3, but this is a much different situation than Child's Play 3. The opening story to get you to the factory is a hell of a lot more believable. You can understand why Andy would be dumped around in foster homes because, you know, shit, people aren't sure that he didn't kill people. Makes sense. Chucky's death in 2 could be my favorite by a long shot. For at least Chucky's, him dying in 2 is long, drawn out, and pretty fucking gnarly and gross looking. Next, we have Bride of Chucky. Okay, so as I was about to say when I was talking about Child's Play 2, Bride of Chucky is something that, for nostalgia's sake, might be high. The more I sit down and watch these, they could switch. But Bride of Chucky is certainly my second favorite Child's Play movie. And it's all close. Like, this is a movie that again, nearly perfectly did it. I like a little bit of black humor, which could explain why Child's Play 2019 is not terrible to me. Again, I'm not married to the Chucky character, so that could also play into it, but we're not. Why am I talking about other movies while I'm talking about so close, as close to perfect as possible, balancing the gore, the black humor. What Seed failed to do, Bride did in spades, making fun of the genre, making fun of pop culture without being so epic movie about it. And again, there's still a story around it that's all right. He's got to get to his body. Chucky's got to get to Charles Lee Ray's body, and his girlfriend is going to help him. A wife, excuse me. Which leaves one film. Did you figure out which one it is? Yes, the original Child's Play, 1988, is still my favorite. I don't know if that's a big shock. Tom Holland, brilliant movie. This is a movie that I'm sure didn't have ideas of being a 8-movie franchise at that point. Brilliant job of having characters think that Andy could actually be fucked up and doing all this shit. Us as audience members know that the doll's possessed because shit, we were with Charles Lee Ray when he did it. But you can understand how things look. It would be funny to see if Charles Lee Ray were able to fully get a hold of Andy's soul and walk around in his body and all that jazz, because that you just have more murders from Andy, because that would be a really interesting angle to take it on. But again, you need the icon, and the icon is the doll. The icon isn't Alex Vincent. Doing a decent job of subverting a lot of people's thoughts, much like it did for clowns. Child's Play certainly helped the creepy scaredness of dolls, and didn't help much having him with a potty mouth.
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
If Child's Play 2 didn't exist, Burnt up Chucky could be my favorite Child's Play death. The way his voice box like fades at the end when he's dead. That's awesome. So much of it's just an incredibly solid movie. I don't know what else to say about this film that hasn't been said. For every reason you've heard before, it's number one for me. Again, Tom Holland, different director with Don Mancini's voice, and it worked. How strange how that seems to work out. All the non-Mancini directed films kind of hold their own and aren't atrocious. It's a well-made film, but the more I think about it, on a recent rewatch, things don't jump out to me about cinematography or anything. That would probably go to 2. Oddly enough, 2 really kind of got me there with some of the cinematography. But just a better made product, a tighter product. My favorite of the Child's Play franchise, Child's Play 1988. So what's your list like? Let me know down below with your 8 through 1. Are you a diehard Child's Play fan? What did you think of 2019? Have you seen it yet? Are you vetoing it for some sort of love for Don Mancini? Are you the opposite? Are you pro 2019 and want everything out of Mancini's hands? Good luck with that. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, you can let me know on a myriad of ways. Comment, like, share, do them all at the same time, although you'd probably have to wait once at a time. If you really enjoyed it, you could subscribe to check out more stuff like this in the future. And if you really, really liked it and want to contribute to content, I do have a Patreon page where people get exclusive content, giveaways, exclusive Skype calls, streams, whatever you want to call them. Those are all exclusives for Patreon if you'd like to support production in the future. Other than that, thank you for watching this far. I have been CP. You haven't. Have a day.